Hey y'all, Imara Ifawuyi here, coming to you from the beautiful island of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. And I wanted to talk a little bit tonight again. I haven't been on this subject lately because you know I go all over the place with this YouTube. But I wanted to talk a little bit about narcissists again, my actual favorite topic. I love this topic because there's so many of us that's lives are being turned upside down from being too closely connected to these narcs. And you know, while most of us have traits of narcissism and behavior patterns that, you know, can be very narcissistic at times, when you are enmeshed in a situation with an actual narc, like whether they're diagnosed or not, you know, if they went to see somebody, you know, a therapist, or they went to see a psychologist, they would for sure be diagnosed with NPD itself. When you go through that shit, you know, you're never the same after that. I can honestly say I have dealt with all levels of abuse. I grew up with a full-on psychopathic narcissist male, my grandfather. And I will honestly say I've had a lot of negative encounters with males in my life, but I had one narc that I know for sure was full-blown NPD. And there's just nothing like the whole scale abuse on every level that you go through with these beings. They are, what's very unique about narcissistic abuse is that it isn't just that they, you know, cuss you out sometimes. It isn't just that they threaten you with violence sometimes. It's not just that they are financially abusive at times, or that they play mind games, or they ice you out and, you know, do the silent treatment at times. It's that with narcissistic abuse, usually they are launching like an attack on all fronts. Like they're doing all of that and more. And so, you know, it's very destabilizing. One of the things about narcissistic abuse is, and one of the ways that you'll know that you are in a narc relationship, that you're in, and you can't even really call it a relationship, situationship, is because of how unstable you feel, how unsteady you feel. Your footing it doesn't feel powerful, it doesn't feel strong in that relationship. You're walking on eggshells. You know, you're never comfortable with the person. You're never sure what is going to set that person off and send them into a rage. You just aren't sure how they're going to come at you. One moment it might be, you know, them raging. The next moment they're gaslighting you. The next minute they're deflecting everything that they've been doing, so that, you know, you are being forced to have to be shamed and take blame for things that they have been doing. I mean, it is such a roller coaster of a ride with these real narcs, like the real joints. That, you know, it's life-changing. I know for me, I had to learn a lot about myself and about my challenge with setting boundaries, because I grew up with a narcissistic male figure. And, you know, just had a lot of codependency. You know, I grew up in a household where my grandmother was, I've never seen codependency like this before. You know what I mean? Like, she was that old school woman, wasn't gonna do nothing if her man didn't tell her to do it. Was gonna sit up, take whatever brutality she had to take, and she just sat there and she took it. And she took it for 60 years. And this is what I had to watch as a woman. Or as a young girl. This is what I had as a model for me. A woman who just took everything. You know what I'm saying? She took all of the abuse. And so I didn't have a lot of sense of boundaries at all. My mom, you know, as well, was kind of like the weakest link of all her siblings. She's the one that took that toxic household to heart and internalized it the most, and ended up basically destroying her life very early on, from like, you know, from teens on. My mom's never been right. And so she had me in her teens. And so, yeah, it's been a lot just understanding the importance of boundaries, of you know, really, really being tuned into yourself and what you're comfortable with and what you value and what you need to be comfortable. And when somebody pushes past that or violates that, knowing that you need to ease up, look, watch, decide if this is something that you need to, you know, head out on. And it's not people, they shouldn't get a lot of chances to violate your boundaries. So you need to be very, very firm about what those are. And, you know, and the only way you can have very firm boundaries is by doing the introspection, is by doing the self-work, getting the therapy, you know, really focusing on getting to know you and what you need and what you value in life and what is just, it's a non-negotiable for you. And so for me, I know when I was attracting, especially the last narc that I dealt with, the narc, you know, I wasn't, you know, I was in a bad space. So a lot of times narcs will find you when you're in a very shaky position because they're predators. So they prey on people that they think are in a position that they can, you know, come in and look like they're coming to save the day, being heroes, being heroines, but also being able to take control over things because they see you as weaker than them. So they're predators. They try to pounce on and grab up what they think is weaker than them. And so at the time I was unstable. I had been through a couple of years of just craziness. And so I was kind of an easy prey at the time. And, you know, it's really sad because I'm a single mom, too. So it's like you prey on me, you try to bring destruction to my life. You're also bringing destruction to my children's life. And so, and I didn't have sense enough at the time to be responsible enough to have the boundaries that I needed to make sure I don't let no dustball male come up in my life bringing me no drama, stress, or strain that's going to threaten my life and my children's reality, right? So at the time, I didn't have that consciousness. And so I went ahead and opened myself up. And it was just, you know, some years of just one tragedy after the next, horror stories and abuse and, you know, back and forth and, you know, together one day, not together the next, back and forth, insanity. And, you know, it was like that also because I was fighting for my life. I was fighting, you know. I knew I deserved to be treated better. I thought I wanted that to work, but I was also just fighting. So it was just like a whole warfare situation that I was in. But saying all that to say is that it was my lack of boundaries because this was someone who shouldn't have got past day 2 or 3 with me. It was my lack of boundaries. It was my inability to really get to, you know, just really tap into myself and how I was feeling and you know, how this person was making me feel, my levels of discomfort that I was having around this person very early on. I wasn't tuning into all that. I was numbed out. And that's what happens with a lot of people who have been in a lot of heavy abuse patterns or who grew up in abusive households, childhood situations. The alarm system that would naturally go off for you, that would alert you to danger and let you know that someone is very, very toxic and can destroy you if you let them in, that system is numbed. It's dulled out. You can't even really hear it like that. So, you know, it's all that codependency, the dulled alarm system and all these things. It just ends up being the perfect storm. You know, it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect setup to just have a tragic life, really. And so I'm grateful for the experiences that I did have in the narc relationship because it took me to a whole nother level of who I am. Like it forced me to go inside. It forced me to take control over my life. It forced me to put a hard boundary and not budge off of that boundary at all. It wasn't the first time I had done it, but it was also maybe one of the first times that I had a full-on like narc relationship. And I had to learn. I had to learn how to love myself, you know. And so it taught me how to love myself and to, you know, and I'm not perfect. I still have a lot of things I'm working through, but it taught me that, you know, even though I'm not perfect and I've been through a lot and, you know, and I've done up my own dirt and done a lot, even though all of that, I didn't deserve that and I don't deserve that and I'm not doing it. And that's what I tell sisters and anyone who's out there that's going through these kind of situations. You don't deserve that. I don't care how many mistakes you've made in your life. I don't care, you know, what has happened. I don't care how imperfect you are. You do not deserve to be obliterated by another person because of how insecure they're feeling about themselves. Okay, and that is just, it's the epitome. It's really just pure evil is what it is. Someone that has it in their spirit to try to destroy another person, especially someone who they know is raising children and stuff like that. These are very evil entities we're dealing with. And so if you have that in your world, get it out. Like, don't even, you know, even think twice about it. Just go no contact and keep it stepping one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Don't even look back. You're going to miss them. You're going to have the cognitive dissonance. You're going to, you know, wonder if you made the right move. But whatever it is, do not let that lead you to hoovering yourself, pulling yourself back to that person, getting in touch with that person, and taking yourself back into that hellish cycle with them by, you know, basically psychologically tricking yourself to think that you actually need or deserve or have more that you need to do in that situation. There ain't no more to do. You know, once you see what is happening to you and what is being done to you, you simply step away. And that's all there is to it. And it took me some years to realize that it's as simple as that. Either you love yourself or you don't. Either you want peace or you don't. You know? And so I'm so grateful. I'm really, really grateful for it. I mean, it was a nasty situation. I'm glad I got out. I'm glad that I, you know, I'm glad that I got out. Excuse me, I got a text. And that I didn't end up perishing in that. Because whether it ever became physical or anything like that, which it had not fully really, but it was going there. It was on the way to that. And, you know, sometimes you don't get out just on a psycho-emotional level. These things, these relationships, they literally can crush you. They can destroy you. So I just wanted to do that little insight into my own narc story, you know, and I didn't give a lot of details. Maybe one day I will do a story time and just talk about some of the just outrageous shit that I've seen and been through with the narc relationship. But ultimately, what I suggest is, if you have any question about your relationship, if you're feeling unsteady, if you're feeling uncertain, there's a high likelihood that you're dealing with something that is highly toxic. Okay, because a relationship should make you feel at peace, should bring comfort to you. It should make you feel stable and steady, like you have a partner that you can pull on and lean into when you're going through your things, and vice versa. If you don't have that, you don't have a relationship. You do not have something worth holding on to. And it's as simple as that. I am offering coaching services for anyone who's interested in getting just more support, mental support, as they're trying to break away from these narc relationships. As some of you know, I also have a background in alternative medicine, so I am always offering consultations, health related, you know, in terms of diet and nutrition, and just holistic lifestyles, which I have been on a holistic path for over 30 years now. My master's is in alternative medicine. So you can connect with me for that. And lastly, I am a single mama that travels the world with her kids, and I love it. It's my lifestyle. And I am here to support other single mothers doing the same, or families that want to get out and be global and expose their children to the world. So if you're interested in that, I will make sure I post all of my links and all the things down below. Thank you for listening to my rant. Have a great night, y'all. Find your free.